I'm Crypto Pio, and this is a Nifty Gateway NFT drop watch covering tonight's evening drop. So tonight's evening drop is Calvin Harris and Emil Nava. It's very interesting for a few different reasons. The main reason I think it's interesting is because we're seeing a musician, Calvin Harris, really demonstrate that he wants to take NFT development seriously. He wants to be a long-standing NFT artist. The reason being is that the structure of this drop is very beneficial to the people that already own Calvin Harris and Emil Nava NFTs. This is their second drop as a duo. And, there's been a lot of speculation that musician drops are just cash grabs in the NFT community. And I think that there's a solid amount of data to back that up too. So it's not something that I disagree with. I'm not ready to write off every single musician just yet, but it's something that has definitely, crossed my mind. I've brought it up in several videos. It's something that I'm looking at very closely. 888, the whale 888, commented on Calvin Harris's drop structure today on Twitter, and that prompted me to take a look at it. And it's pretty clear that this is built for folks that already have Calvin Harris and Emil Nava NFTs. So let's take a look at why. The reason being is, right, we have we have nothing but drawings here, okay? So drawings and auctions, no open editions. So you can't just pop on and buy an NFT in tonight's drop. It's only drawings and open editions. And some of the drawings actually are only for collectors. This one right here, Beauty in Isolation, The Glowing Gills, A Cry for Companionship. Must own an NFT from Calvin Harris and Emil Nava to enter the drawing. And there's an addition of 50. So if you own something from their last drop, I think there's a decent chance that you can win this drawing, which is pretty sweet. Like if we look at this last one, okay, cool, right here, Technofish. It was an open edition and a drawing. And, 231 editions minted at 1,000 and 78 editions minted at 2,500. You can tell that this was from a different time because these prices are huge compared to what we're seeing now. That was, probably a month ago or so. And March 29th. So even though that's literally 1 month ago, that is a lifetime ago in NFTs, because at that time you could price open editions at 2,500 and still push 100 sales on them, even without being like a Mad Dog Jones, Pack, Beeple, blue chip type NFT artist. So the fact that, all the flippers, the paper hand folks, the people that were buying an NFT at primary for $1,000 and then literally selling it for $1,200 within 1 hour of receiving it. I mean, really within like 15, 20 minutes of them actually receiving the mint. Those folks have all left because that stopped working. It was like a natural selection, sort of like, Darwinistic process that got them shaken out because it just stopped working, right? We're still seeing it. We're still seeing, collectors get punished. If you want an example, I bought the Micah Johnson volume 2 or second chapter in the Aku series 2 Sundays ago. And absolutely, I would buy it again. I bought it for $1,000. Its last sale was $600, right? So it sort of disincentivizes collectors to buy a drop. And when collectors buy a drop, that's the best for the artist. So it's not a healthy ecosystem if that's the case. And I think the price discovery, drop structures are still being figured out. And this is definitely an interesting step in the right direction, right? We're looking at a drop that is all drawings and auctions. And a lot of the drawings require you to already own an NFT from Calvin Harris and Emil Nava. So that's 2 of them right here. Mycelium Margin. Let's use as one. Must own 500 or more NFTs to enter drawing. So this is pretty wild. This is a collaboration by Calvin Harris and Emil Nava, someone named Wilco, Centro, Johnny Lee, and Lectrix. So yeah, I mean, this is for a whale, right? So this is an additional one. It's going to be very interesting to see how many entries that gets. I'm going to enter the drawings now that do not require must own 100 or more. So I can't enter that one. So that's just rewarding collectors right there. Must own 150 or more. So I can't enter that one. Okay. Addition of 5, must own 250 or more. Okay, so you can't enter unless you own that many. And then if you want to get this $1,000 one, you can enter this drawing. It's an addition of 25. There's 24 entries. I'm not going to enter this because the $1,000 price point is a price point that I'm staying away from at primary sale unless it's really something that I like and I want to hold forever, like the Micah Johnson Chapter 2 in the Aku series. There was no situation where I wasn't going to buy that at drop, right? And I'm not going to buy this drawing just because it's $1,000 because, winning a drawing on Nifty Gateway does not automatically mean that your piece is going to appreciate. It doesn't really mean anything in terms of long-term value. And so you really need to like the piece, like the artist, want to have a connection with the artist, want to hold the piece for a long time in order to justify it. And that's not the case for me with this particular, drop in this particular piece. So look, 26 minutes and, an addition of 10. There's only 4 entries on this one. So I wouldn't be terribly surprised if there's like less than 30 entries for this edition of 10 because it's $2,500. So that's like a pretty tough price point to justify right now, post bubble bursting in the NFT space, with the current situation with Nifty gateways, kind of like price discovery going on. There's just a lot of risk factors in play. The volume of drops, this is the second drop of the day. There was another drop earlier with a notable artist with Jose Delbo. So, there's kind of a lot of different factors going on right now and a lot to pay attention to. The other thing you have to keep in mind is that the Beeple drop is this weekend, and that's going to be a pretty big deal. I have to think it's like a Friday to Monday or Friday to Sunday thing. I don't think there's going to be as much hysteria as the pack drop. I don't think that there's going to be as much complexity, as much, engagement and sort of gamification of that drop the way that pack did. But this is the artist Beeple, who is coming off of a $69 million traditional auction house sale through Sotheby's. He's hot. He's hot right now for sure. And it's not totally clear what the drop structure is going to be yet. And I think it could be potentially really interesting. Again, not like the level of insane complexity and puzzles and gamification and like monetization, like turning NFTs into money that we saw with the pack drop. But one thing I do think will be similar to the pack drop is we saw money get pulled out of the rest of the NFT market to go into the pack drop. People were just flipping their old stuff and then putting that money, the proceeds from their flips, into the pack cubes. And it's actually been like a really good thing for people that did that, especially if they bought the cubes on the first day, because I'm pretty sure pack cubes are just selling left and right for $1,500. There you go. Last sold $1,500. First day, you could buy the pack cube for $500, and there was kind of like a built-in incentive, a built-in motivation to buy many pack cubes because it was alluded to that the cube was going to be currency. You can turn 20 cubes into 20 cubes, the NFT 20 cubes. So in other words, turn like $21 bills into a $20 bill. So there was a lot of interesting things from that. We saw money come out of the rest of these pieces, like this piece, Bitcoin Angel. I own 2 copies of this. This was selling for between $3,000 and $4,000 every single day for like a full month. This one, Faces, at its peak, Faces was selling for $1,200, $1,300. Genesis, this is the one piece, the first piece in the Aku series that really has retained its pricing at a level that's over what its drop price was. So these are kind of like the things that you have to look at. Even Karma Chameleon by Wisby entering the top 6, it's selling for less than what its initial drop price was. And we're not even close to the weekend yet. So just like we saw money come out of all of the rest of the market and go into the pack drop, I have to think that that's going to happen again with the Beeple drop, given that Beeple's an even bigger name than pack. It's not going to be as complex of a drop, I don't think. I have to imagine that it won't. But you have to factor that in, that the hype is going to be there. It's Beeple. It's the guy that sold something for $69 million. Sorry. All right. So yeah, last but not least, let's just circle back to this drop that's happening now. Let's look at the entries. We got 96 entries for an addition of 50, and you have to own Calvin Harris and Emil Nava. So big reward to investors. Yeah, look at that. So there's like, a 50% chance that you're going to get one of these, and they're only $50. That's amazing. These are going to appreciate that low price point, and the fact that there's only 50 mints of them and you had to be a collector is a major, major, major reward for Calvin Harris and Emil Nava's collectors. So this is definitely a step in the right direction. They're going to have to make up for it with the money that they make on their auctions, or they just won't make as much money. This won't be as lucrative of a drop for Emil Nava and Calvin Harris. And if that's the case, then it is what it is, because you have to satisfy your collector base, is what we're learning in the NFT world. Your collector base has to be happy with what you're doing. And, I've talked in videos a lot about how I feel like the artists shouldn't have to engage with their collectors. They shouldn't worry about being on Discord. They should just make the art, and that should be good enough. But if the community, if the collectors, the people that are putting up the money expect that, you're going to see engagement become more and more necessary. Otherwise, the artist won't have a long-term kind of career in the NFT primary market, just selling NFTs on the primary market. So 25 entries for an addition of 25 so far, must own 100 or more Nifties to enter the drawing. So there's a lot of whales out there that own that many. Spine Beacon, 72 entries. So look, moral of the story is we're not seeing the entries into these drawings go through the roof, but what we are seeing are some pretty solid rewards for people that own Calvin Harris and Emil Nava. Look, we're only up to 106. There's a $50 price tag on this drawing. Like, there would be way more if you didn't have to own the pieces. And I wouldn't be surprised if this sparked a little bit of a mini bull run, not like a full-on bull run, but a mini bull run. And let's look at these open editions. Technofish, let's look in the marketplace. Initial drop price was $1,000. Let me just quickly look at one of the global histories for this piece. Global history. Yeah, I mean, look at this. Past 40 minutes, we have a bunch of sales. There again, right? 1174. It's not a major profit. It's really not any profit because you have to factor in the 15% fee. So 1174 times 0.85. It's actually a loss. So really, these people got out of owning these pieces. Like, they didn't want them anymore. And they're like, all right, I almost broke even, get me out. But it's still, it's up and to the right for the piece. It's not down and to the right. It's up and to the right. So it sparked this little mini bull run. Calvin Harris and Emil Nava also benefit from this mini bull run, right? But nonetheless, it prompted secondary market sales of their previous drop. So, we'll see this stuff develop. We're going to see what happens. My thought is that the primary market drop price is just going to be adjusted. It's just going to be different. We've seen a bunch of drops at like $300, $333. I think you're going to see that more and more, especially after this Beeple drop, because Beeple's not going to be going for $333. So it's going to be an incredibly interesting week. I'm going to have a huge announcement this week for the future of my content. So I appreciate everyone that's been watching. I'm looking forward to putting out a ton of new and better content. And I'm just really excited to share the news for you. So this is Escape Velocity. I'm Crypto Pio. I'll catch you next time.